Women are the answer to the recovery of our economy. It's true here in the United States, it's true worldwide. Pre-COVID-19, we were looking at just facts and math that said if women could participate equally in the economy, had equal access to loans, equal pay, equal representation, that there would be trillions of dollars of global GDP generated.
The Women's Advocate Award is presented to a woman who is committed to the growth of women-owned businesses, focused on helping women in need and dedicated to building an organization that truly makes a difference. My name is Felina Hansen, and I am the president of NAWBO San Diego. You are watching the Women's Advocate of the Year panel release.
Hi, I am Jamie Shapiro, the founder-owner of Silver Linings Transitions, and we are a transition specialty company. So to give you an example, when a senior is leaving a home that they've been in for many years and they are downsizing to a smaller space or a senior community, they're overwhelmed with belongings that they've collected through a lifetime. What are they going to do? How are they going to get there? So my company goes in and we handle the entire move. We get them packed, unpacked, organized, decorated, and settled. We also work with divorcing clients a lot who are leaving the family home, having to divide belongings and, go into new spaces. And we also do a lot of downsizing, decluttering, and helping people when they've sort of taken on too much in their lives. We help release that clutter and set them up for a happier, easier life. And one of the things that makes us special is that I hire women, typically, I will hire men, who are transitioning back into the workforce after taking time off to care for loved ones. It's really difficult for them. I'm the mom of 3 daughters. And I think, my role as mom and showing them resilience is probably the most important work I've ever done.
I am Samara Hakim. I'm the founder and president of Culture Grit. We equip leaders to work with those who are different than them by mitigating bias and integrating culture and inclusion into their business practices and metrics.
Hi, I'm Dana Bristol Smith. I'm the founder of Leap to Success. We're a women's empowerment organization, and our mission is to educate and empower women who are overcoming domestic violence, homelessness, and other major life challenges. I have a son. I have had 2 husbands and 2 brothers. So I've been surrounded by men my whole life. So I think my work with Leap to Success is my work for women for the future and what we do, and having, daughters and potentially granddaughters and all. But I think I had to create that and surround myself. I mean, we only have women staff. We only serve women. Our office is at Hera Hub. So I think that is my lifetime of being surrounded by men. This has evened it out, and it's much more in favor of women these days.
Hi, my name is Sephora. I'm the owner of the law office of Sephora B1. I practice family law, and I try to cater to lower income individuals because I grew up lower income. And in family law, especially, there's a huge need for people that don't have money, that have issues concerning their children, divorces, whatnot, to be represented. So I try to fill that gap. There are a lot of resources for people who are totally low income, so they can get free resources. And there are individuals that can afford an attorney at a $300 per hour rate. But there's that gap in the middle where people need the services, but they cannot afford them. But these are essential services. So it's my honor to find these people and serve them.
Hi, my name is Vidya Dinamani. I'm a founder and partner at Astra Ventures, and we focus on funding early stage female founders, and we support them through education programs and investment.
How are you making a difference in the lives of women?
So how we are making a difference in the lives of women is I actually started Silver Linings Transitions while simultaneously going through a divorce. And those are two pretty big things to go through at the same time. And so what I try to do with Silver Linings Transitions is have that soft space for somebody who is re-entering the workforce. You know, a lot of times it is due to divorce. They need a supportive environment. They need to do meaningful work. They need the flexibility. They need an understanding of, you know, the challenges that they're going through. And the other thing that I think is really important is that I structure the job that they take on to help build their resume, so that if they don't want to stay with Silver Linings Transitions, they're able to go out and compete in the job market, even though they've had a gap in employment. And I just feel like we are the confidence and the support that they need when they're facing a tough time. And then they in turn go out and help our clients who are also facing, you know, a tough time in their life.
So through my work doing consultation, facilitation, and coaching on diversity, equity, and inclusion, I equip organizations to design the space to support more women and to support women's career advancement and access to leadership position, aside from just hiring more women. So I also work with women-owned businesses themselves to develop their leadership skills and to build an inclusive business culture themselves. The past few years, I have focused on doing coaching to women on owning their powers as leaders and on being mindful of intersectionality. It's important that we don't fall into this myth of scarcity where we might feel that there's one or two positions for women and we all have to compete for them. We want to reinforce one another's strength as a collective while also acknowledging and making room for unique lived experiences. For example, as women of color, Black women, indigenous women, women who have experienced forced displacement, transgender women, and LGBTQIA+ members. So my whole work revolves around having people work together across differences and making an impact together, and developing women is at the center of that. What I found many times is that we need an ear followed by an act. So it can be as simple as answering the phone, really answering text messages promptly, making time to talk, making that time be meaningful as well, but then following that with action. So much growth that I have gotten has been from these kind of moments in my life. And when I think of the informal, unpaid coaching that I have done over the past 5 years, I've done that with over 50 women through mentorship programs and growth partnerships, just meeting someone, taking the relationship further. These were entrepreneurs, students, colleagues, other practitioners in various industries, women of color, younger women, especially women in tech. And the best part about this meeting women from all walks of life and talking to them is also the growth that I get myself. While they're thanking me for what I'm offering, I'm just so grateful for the perspectives that I'm absorbing all along. As a result of this formal and informal work, women have gotten increased salaries, higher paying gigs and contracts, leadership titles, other career advancement opportunities. We just sometimes need that little boost to surface what we already know we can offer. And coaching people on how to bring that forth in a way where those decision makers can actually hear it and understand it is a big piece here. So that's one way that I'm making a difference, or a couple. Another way that I have become more conscious of for making a difference specifically is thinking of my network as an asset. So I guard my network. I'm very particular about preserving my reputation, staying true to my values, and ensuring that those within, those around me, those within my network have the integrity and align with my values. Once you do the deep work on that, then making connections across all genders for people within your network, it becomes a lot more easy. Everyone benefits, everyone develops, we're all aligned. We don't need someone to tell us what we need. We don't need someone to dictate for us what are our needs. We need someone to just step away, make the space for us to be able to share our needs, and then from there give us that space to be able to figure out how to meet our needs, because we can do that ourselves. So lastly, being a member of a few communities of practice and through membership in organizations, for example, a group of experienced consultants from across the country and the sub-hub at HERA Hub, I use these platforms to connect people with one another and facilitate difficult and honest conversations and bridging sectors together as well. That lens of equity and fairness is a constant in my life.
At Leap to Success, the women that we serve are overcoming really tough life challenges, and particularly during the pandemic when domestic violence was rising, when options were limited, when women were having to stay home and be there for their children. It's just been a really tough time. So what we've been able to do is transition all of our programs from being in person to online, where we've literally become a lifeline for women who've been isolated and afraid and just really having a tough time. We're seeing a lot more mental health challenges. A lot of the women who are referred to our programs from organizations like Interfaith Community Services or Community Resource Center. Actually, there's more than 50 organizations here in San Diego that refer to our programs. But what they're seeing is these huge mental health challenges. People who have been impacted directly by COVID, have lost someone that they've loved, and are really struggling. So what I'm really proud of is we've been able to rise and meet the need to help women through this really tough time and do it all on Zoom. So I'm really proud of what my team has been able to do.
This may sound interesting, but I say in some ways I'm helping myself work first. As a woman, I am a mom of 3 small children. I'm a lawyer. I don't want to do one or the other. I don't want to spend lots of time at work only and neglect my kids, or stay home completely and neglect my work. So by being my own boss, I can spend some days heavily on my children, some days heavily at work. In that way, I cater to myself first and foremost, so I feel fulfilled. And after that, a lot of my clients are women. They're the women who need restraining orders, women who need child support, spousal support, women who need to have custody of their children and they haven't been able to afford an attorney. And the other side has an attorney for 5 years now, and they haven't seen their child for the amount of time that they should have. And no one has been there to sit there to look through all the facts and draft up the declarations or go to the judge and articulate their argument on their behalf, because a lot of lay people can't go to the courtroom and do that. So I get to do that for my female clients, my male clients as well, but a lot of my female clients, and they get the essential help that they need. So in that way, I serve women.
So starting a business is really hard and it's lonely. And for women, all the patterns that we see are primarily male. It's especially true when you're trying to build a business that scales and is trying to get venture. And the numbers prove it. It's less than 5% of women get funding from VCs, and that's got worse during the pandemic. I think it's dropped to about 3%. So everything about this is complicated and difficult and lonely. So what we wanted to do was to find a way to change the way that the structure works. And our mission is get to even. So our goal, when we hit success, it's going to be when there's an equal number of women and men getting funded, and there's an equal number of women and men investing in companies, because those who make the decisions and write the checks get to say what kind of businesses get funded. So at Ad Astra, we started off with an investment thesis and we picked women to invest in, and we worked really closely with them. We did tons of research. We pointed to implicit bias, and we changed the way that women can ask for money, can structure their business, and create a community around you're not alone. There's a different way, and we can create different patterns in the way that we do business. If you fast forward the last 3 years, we've put 100 women through our programs, our boot camps. We think of them as transformational. That's what they say as well. They spend an intense amount of time with us, and we take them through basics of business, but with a lens that's female focused. And so we're really proud of the work that we're doing. I think we're changing women in small groups at a time, but these women are going to get to be successful companies that are going to hire more and more people, and the patterns will change. That's our idea of success. That's what we're working for.
How have you contributed to helping women in need?
I love sharing stories. I think sometimes, need can be any need. And I have a woman who joined our company. She had taken time off from her career to care for her loved ones and lost her mother, which was very close with her mom. And that really sort of set her on the journey of, what do I want to do with my life? Her kids at the time were in elementary school, and she joined our team. Shortly after joining our team, her marriage ended. And then actually, sadly, she lost her twin brother. So it was a lot of grief in a very short attention span, but she had to work. So we actually, as I mentioned earlier on, we help people sometimes who are in their homes who just have too much stuff. And I had a client that I met with who had some hoarding tendencies and her home had become overwhelming. She had gone through a divorce and lost her father. And so I paired the two together. And this woman on my team was able to guide the client through downsizing and organizing and decluttering. And they both, emerged from the process, happier and healthier. And I think that the best part of Silver Linings Transitions is really the energy that we put out into other people. And I see myself as investing in my team, and then they invest in our clients.
The question is about helping women in need, and it depends on what we mean by need, right? Frankly, I don't know a single woman this past year who was not in need, and especially working moms. So help can be as simple and was as simple for me as taking care of a friend's child so she can take care of herself, or she can have time to grow her career and be present for her work. Really, it got to that elementary point this past year. So putting my time, my energy, and my funds forward for others, I maintained my membership in a woman-focused co-working space, and I knew the value that came with that before, but especially in the virtual world where we might have felt very lonely in our work, it was priceless. And I feel that in that realm, I was able to be there for others, and so many people were there for me in my need. Investing in other women's businesses, buying their products or funding Kickstarter campaigns, and then seeing all of these flourish, years later. These are small investments, but the key is sharing with your network these activities, and a little act becomes such a big act. Crowdfunding for women who could not do it for themselves or because of cultural stigma, specifically why they couldn't do it, whether domestically or internationally. Donating my tickets to women who could not afford certain events but really needed to go to them to scale their business. In my prior life, I was a nonprofit lawyer working with domestic violence survivors and survivors of trafficking. And I specifically worked with immigrant women and refugee women. And so one of the things that we did through Hera Hub, actually, and the community of Hera Hub, we organized the campaign to collect self-care packages from one sister to another. The woman stepped up amazingly, bridging refugee and immigrant women in our community with established residents. And it was so touching to just see the reactions to that and the impact that it had. Donating to nonprofits specifically that support the development of young women, especially leadership skills and building their confidence, like Sue Rising, Detour, Girls on the Run. The way I look at it is we don't need to have hundreds or thousands of dollars to support women. It can be as simple as deciding where to buy my products, looking at women-owned businesses, looking at women cooperatives, even internationally through travel. This is what Growth Partnership is about. So all of us can get out of the need that we're in, because we all have it one way or another to varying degrees. And it's just about giving this environment to one another to lift each other up and rise above it all together, especially in this environment where everybody is in need.
As I look back over the last year and a half or so, where we've seen so much more need for women to have support, for women to be included in activities, and at the same time, have to be at home during lockdown. The way that we've been able to contribute to women in need is we've increased the support and increased the number of programs that we provide at Leap to Success. So I'll give you an example. For all of our graduates of our Leap to Confidence program, which happens over 7 weeks, we offered something when we met in person called the Empowerment Circle. And the women, all of the graduates were invited to come back once a month and be there to support each other and learn from each other and continue to be reminded of the skills that they learned in the program. And we'd have anywhere from maybe 10 to 12 women come on a monthly basis. But during the pandemic, we saw that there was so much more need. What we did was we decided to take that monthly offering and offer it every single week. So we have women now who graduated even several years ago, but they've become part of this beautiful circle of support for each other. And they get together every week. And then we saw that happening, so we increased it to twice a week. So 2 of our instructors now each hold it. And the women are so grateful to be supported, to be nurtured, to have community and sisterhood during such a difficult time in their lives. So I'm really grateful that we've been able to step up in that way and help women who really needed that level of support.
I would love to share. There's so many meaningful stories, but I'm hesitant because of the confidences that I owe my clients. But I would say generally in family law, there are studies out there showing that about 70% of the population cannot afford an attorney at a typical rate, and people are self-represented. And there's also studies out there showing that one side is self-represented and the other side is not, that they are prejudiced in their custody cases. So since I cater to those individuals that don't qualify for free services and cannot afford the attorney at the regular rate, I get to come across so many different people who have struggled for years, and then I get to help them. And it's the most amazing thing. And trust me, it's so stressful for me at times because I have 3 small children and I try to fit everyone in and I try to do this, but it's so meaningful that I push myself because the reward's so great and the effect that it has on my clients is so great. So I just keep pushing along, but it's my privilege. Honestly, it's so awesome to help like this group of people.
I think there's been so much different types of need that's been expressed here. And so as I was thinking about Ad Astra and the way we thought about it recently, I just wanted to share sort of 3 quick stories that represent the different types of need, because women, especially starting businesses, there's such a range, and I think everyone here knows this. So the first is when it came to funding, we had a woman who came to us and she was very focused on a path to funding that I talked about patterns before. It was, here's what she needs to do, this is what she needs to grow. And it felt not connected to what she needed. And so what we're really sort of happy about is we brought her right back to not actually going for external funding, finding a way to fund herself and her business, which meant that she kept control. So fast forward a couple of years, this business is hers. She gets to make the decisions. No one else is coming in here and doing that for her. So I think that's one specific need when you think you have one, but someone can help you see the bigger picture in a different way. The other is more practical, the second need. Over half of the 100 women who've gone through our boot camps, we put them on scholarships because we recognize it's hard. I think we've talked about access to funding, and we're in a really difficult spot. So again, we're very proud to be able to kind of help women get the help they need in order to ask the right questions and make good decisions. And then the last one is, it's not just through Ad Astra. A lot of the time when women come to us and these startups come to us, it's helping build their board of advisors. And so we reach out to a great network of women and men, and we pair and we add people. And just recently this week, we added an amazing woman who's had a very successful business for 10 years. And she just became an advisor to the startup company who's a couple of years old, fresh, never raised funds, but just being able to put these people together and match is something that's really exciting. So lots and lots of different ways that you've heard about meeting needs, which there are a lot at this particular time.
What are you most proud of in the last year?
So, gosh, I think there's a lot for us to be proud of this year. This was not an easy year. And I had my own mental health challenges, as did my children. And it's hard to be, a business owner while you are just really wanting to crawl up into a ball. So I would say that, getting through the year and finding ways to pivot my business to keep it going and to retain all of the key employees, I think is the thing that I'm most proud of.
So what am I most proud of from over the last year? Well, I'm most proud of two things. And the first thing is we created a brand new program called Self-Care in Stressful Times, because we knew how much stress everybody was under. And this was geared and aimed at the helpers, the people in our communities that are the counselors, the therapists, the frontline people who all day long are dealing with people in crisis. We thought, what are they getting? How are they taking care of themselves? And we knew that it wasn't enough. And we knew that we had content that could be helpful. So every week, Tuesday at noon, we did a live webinar called Self-Care in Stressful Times. At this point in time, we have done more than 60 episodes of it, and it is still going on, and it's free. So I'm really proud of that. The second thing that I am most proud of, and I have to show you because I have to brag, is Leap to Your Best Life Affirmation Deck. This is a product that all of the words are by the women that we serve. One of the tools that we teach in our programs are the use of affirmations, which are positive statements, because we've got to recondition our thinking, and especially if we've been carrying a lot of negative thoughts. So each of these affirmations in this lovely box has been written by the women that we serve. There are 48 affirmations, and I'm going to share 3 of them with you because these are particularly encouraging. This one says, I pave the way towards my bright new future. The next is, I'm learning and growing. And you see the beautiful butterfly. And the third one says, I remember how far I have come by remembering what I have overcome. So we've been able to give these as gifts to our donors and supporters just to say thank you during this tough time, because they've enabled us to keep going. We've given them as gift to our graduates, to our community, and we now have a product that is for sale that supports our programs to empower women. So this is one of the things I'm most proud of, because it was a vision I had for a long time, and here it is.
So what I'm most proud of, this past year, I stopped apologizing for my existence. And I refused to be anyone's best kept secret. I had actually started making that decision back in 2019, wanting to claim what I felt I deserved and to call out and call in those who I believed perhaps wanted the success of others, but didn't realize that how their actions were actually hindering that particular success. So I am proud of many tough conversations and honest conversations that I had this past year. I'm also with that proud of not giving up on my business and actually growing it. Frankly, surprisingly, I flipped the scenario that I was put in during COVID. I took advantage of the opportunity, having my daughters be at home, and after they went in person, when they would come back home, to just have them see the work that I do, bringing them into my workspaces any chance that I could without apology, and seeing the impact that that had on others as well. Of course, it helped that I was preaching inclusion to everyone and putting it in people's faces. I realized that that may not be possible for everybody. But I guess being in my element, figuratively and literally, was a great thing for me this past year.
I'm proud of being a business owner. I've been a business owner since 2014, but I've always been doing my own thing, with taking care of my kids and having a business on the side. And then this last year, I started working for a prominent family law firm, the biggest one that we have in town. And then I realized everything, all the sacrifice that involved and how good I had it. So I'm back to being my own businesswoman, and I'm so proud and so appreciative of what I had all along. So it's just been wonderful to be able to figure out everything you need and not just have business model that everyone else has, i.e. rent an office and be there all the time. Like, no, I have membership through Hera Hub. I love that you're B Corporation, B certified. I love that your T is B certified. I love that I help women who are in need. It just feels so good to do like good upon good upon good. So I'm so proud that I can do that. And thank you for Hera Hub and all the mindful way that you try to cater to women and people who are trying to like be benefit oriented.
So I'm really proud. I'm going to say two quick things as well. The first is, much like everyone, we had to move everything that we had planned to virtual. And we have a boot camp that we've designed to be an in-person experience. And then the lockdown started a week before it was going to go. And so in a week, we scrambled and we turned everything online. And we've run 4 boot camps since then, all virtual. And now we reach across the country. And actually, we've had people outside of the country. So it's been really cool, very proud of that. And the second is that we launched a new program called our Builder. We recognize that a lot of women need more time. And we want to help them. We want to roll up our sleeves and help them with specific parts of the business in a way that most investment firms don't. You know, you write a check and you disappear. And so we launched that a few months ago, and we've got 3 amazing women that we've been working with, and just so proud of the progress they've made in such a short amount of time. So it's really validating to say, yeah, we sat alongside them, we helped their strategic plans, and they're just flying. So very proud of both those things.
Tell us something unique or fun about you.
So my hidden secret, I don't think it's so hidden because anybody that knows me knows, but I am a hopeful romantic. Notice it's not hopeless because we should all have hope. As I shared, I was going through my divorce and starting a business simultaneously, but I love love. And so I have actually done a lot of dating myself, but I've actually helped a lot of people find love. I help them with their profile. I give them coaching. I ended up writing some blogs. I got noticed and ended up on CBS This Morning at the beginning of the pandemic, talking about online dating and why this was the time to put your profile up and find love. And I actually did. So that's been fun. We've been going for 13 months now. But I love to set people up. I've got lots of happy marriages. And I think if I was doing anything else, I'd probably be a dating coach / matchmaker.
So what's something fun about me? I'm a chocoholic. I am not endorsing addictions here or anything, but I do chocolate pilgrimage. Actually, wherever I go, I do that in all my travels, even in town. I have a secret closet for all of my chocolates, and nobody can access it except me. It's like a treasure safe. And speaking of, taking those moments and treasuring things, I take my afternoon tea with a piece of chocolate almost every day. And this is a time of joy, of reflection, of self-care, of indulgence, all at the same time. And probably I'll be doing this right after this conversation as well.
The dream that I had when I was a teenager of what type of business I would be in is absolutely nothing like what I'm doing today. I had no idea that I would be leading a nonprofit organization and being a fundraiser. I had no idea I was going to be a public speaker and helping people develop confidence in public speaking skills. What I thought I would do is I thought I would own a pet shop, because I loved pets. I actually worked in a tropical fish store as one of my first jobs, and I loved it. And I just thought I would be having fun owning a pet store. And that is a very long way from what I'm doing today. So maybe at some point I will.
All right. So my talent or hidden secret is not that secret or not that hidden. I'm not crazily overwhelmed with stress. I have this ability to enjoy the small things, to truly enjoy them. So then, like the open road with country music, a drive through Starbucks, or like Chick-fil-A sandwiches, or on Saturdays, I take my kids out like in their PJs. We go get bagels, we go to Mission Bay. I find joy in the small things, in the little breaks, and they make a big difference on the daily and like over the years.
One surprising thing about me is I'm actually a master scuba diver. And that was a really, really, really long time ago when I was very young. And then my kids don't know this. So we were recently on vacation And I think it's the first time. They're all older now. We're in the water. I'm telling them what to do in terms of in their snorkel, their mask, where to go. And they're looking at me like, what is this thing that you are doing? Like, I mean, I think, look like a different person to them. So it's pretty funny. So not many people know that because it's been a long time since I got back in the water. So that's really fun.